Hi everybody, this is Renee with Delaney Jane Cards, and my voice sounds like this because I finally got to surgery. No, I'm just kidding, this is her husband. So anyway, what's going on here today is that I have been nominated to collaborate with, by making a card, which I've never done, and it was like, hey, remember that card you're supposed to make like a month ago? Yeah, it's due tomorrow. Yes, dear. I love you. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, it's a collaboration with her friend Amanda at Rise and Procraftinate, with her husband in honor of her birthday. So let me get to the card here because I've rambled on enough with meaningless information. So anyway, what I'm trying to do here is I'm picking the stamps that I have envisioned, and this is an edited video. Prior to this happening, there was about 17 and a half hours of sitting still. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Awakenings with Robin Williams. He was a doctor treating these patients that had this disease that they just would like sit there staring into space. Yeah, that's what happened. So anyway, what I'm doing here is I picked this Fairy on the Moon stamp. I have a vision in my head at this point. I'm not really sure how complete that vision is, but it is what it is. So now you're along for a ride. You already invested your time into this. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out a mask because I have this great idea, thinking that, hey, I might want to do something on the background and not screw up my stamp, since I already laid it out on the cardstock. So what I'm doing is what they call fussy cutting the pieces off of this sticky note, so I don't get ink on the spots that I don't want to get ink on the spots. English is not my first language apparently, but you get it what I mean. So what I'm doing here is, again, I got to get this cut out. I'm going to cut everything off except for the moon and the wings of the fairy. I had been handed a pile of stamps because Renee has about 27,000 stamps here. So I just asked her to just grab me a handful and I would look through them and pick what I needed to pick. And this just seemed like the thing I wanted to do. I'm a nighttime kind of guy. I work at night, and I figured I'd make a nighttime kind of card. So anyway, I got my angel, or fairy, angel, fairy. You know, it's all the same. I got her all masked off. And what I'm doing here with the removable tape, it's Scotch removable tape, which is the best stuff ever, according to my wife. I'm trying to create a kind of a fake hill, because I kind of vision that we're going to put a hill and some trees, and then we're going to have the moon in the background. Now, keep in mind, I've never done this before. This is like new to me. And there's a very newfound respect for what my wife does on a daily basis, because thinking is hard. So what I'm doing there is I have this, I don't even know what kind of ink it was. I believe it was VersaFine. Was it VersaFine? Let me look here. I think it was VersaFine ink. So I'm stamping the trees, and I had to do it several times just to make sure the image was solid. I had removed the mask earlier, and we put a little bit of extra adhesive there so it doesn't lift. Because I got this great idea that I think I'm going to try to ink blend. So what we got here is I'm going to start the ink blend over the angel, and that's why we masked it, because we don't want the color to get on the moon. And as you can see here, I'm realizing that ink blending is hard. There's a lot of stuff you gotta do. You gotta dip that brush in there like 7,000 times to get enough ink on it. And again, I've never done that before. That is, the color I'm using there is, uh, I don't know what it is. It's bluer than blue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to darken it as we go down because it's kind of a night sky. The lighter blue because of the moon glow. Right there we got kind of a midnight-ish blue. And then we're going to go down to a more purpley blue. And I'm going to continue to ink blend this because I just kind of want a gradual darkness. I want it to get darker as you get further away from the moon. And there's a vision. I've had a vision in my head as I was doing this, and it just kept developing as you go on. Again, this is all new to me. I have no idea how Renee does this on a daily basis, like coming up with different ideas, because this was tough to me. What I'm using down there is more of a black and black gray, because it's obviously going to be darker down where the trees are because of the shade and stuff like that. The biggest problem I'm having is trying to make sure there's a consistent color there. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to create some grass, and that is like a olive army green tint. I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to try to lighten it up as we move up the hill because it's getting closer and closer to the moon. I think the top of the hill would be lighter. What we got going on here, we're at the next, I believe we're at the next green. I don't remember what it was. It's more like a sunbird Kermit the Frog green. And then we're just going to keep gradually going up. Now, this green I used on top was really green. It was like, hey, check me out. I'm really green. I think that's what they call it. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to figure out I wanted to make some shadows because I wanted the moon to appear to be behind the trees, and I wanted the moon to be peeking through the trees and create shadows on the hill. Well, then I look at the stamp and I'm like, well, that's not the exact opposite, so that's probably not going to work the way I want it to. So I went to the bathroom and I got myself a couple Q-tips, and I said, I'm going to freehand this. So I'm going to take the Q-tip and I'm going to try to get some distress ink on there. And we're going to test to see if that actually works, because this was an idea that I just came up with. And, I had a 99.9% chance that it was dumb. But it turned out that it does work pretty well. So I ended up freehanding these shadows here. And I have to say that I was pleased with the way it turned out. After I had it all done, I was advised that I didn't have to go to the bathroom to find Q-tips because, well, there's Q-tips here in the craft room amongst everything else that's in here. But I find that if I would have drove 75 miles to Walmart to get Q-tips, I probably would have got them sooner than me looking for them in Renee's craft room. So anyway, there's a lot of babble going on out of my mouth here, and I apologize for that. Because, like I said, this was a last-minute thing for me anyway, because I'm a procrastinator. And, well, you get what you get. Once we're done and the video's done, you can, express to Renee on how much you sympathize with her, that she has to deal with me on a daily basis. So what I'm doing there is I took the black that I created the shadows with, and I'm trying to blend that hill a little bit because it looks like I didn't get really enough ink where the sky meets the horizon. And it just didn't look right to me. So while doing that, though, I seem to get a little green on the blue. But you know what? It all turns out well. You just get some black and you kind of put that over that. The thing that's really strange with these inks is you're always taught don't mix the colors when you're a kid, The stuff that she has in her craft room, you can mix with a lot of this stuff. And it's pretty incredible. But I will tell you that even though I don't know how Renee does it on a daily basis, I enjoyed it. It was fun. So I'm getting in touch with my inner Cardi, I guess. So I'm really not giving you a whole lot of information on this card because, well, I'm not good at this. So anyway, I'm not even sure what I'm doing here anymore. I'm still trying to blend that hill in. So this project here actually was, again, a collaboration with Amanda's husband. Amanda's with Rise and Procraftinate. And there definitely will be a link below connecting this video to Adam's video, Amanda's husband, Adam. Adam is kind of a friend of mine that, well, I never met nor seen or talked to. I think we're just friends by default because of Amanda and Renee's collaboration and friendship. But that's okay. It puts me in uncomfortable positions like this that make me grow as a human being. Right there, I'm using the marker to color in the room. This is the moon. This is my first Copic attempt, and that marker I used in the first was very light yellow. It was, I believe they called it, "Hey, why isn't this coloring? Because it seems empty and needs to be refilled." Yellow. This here is a darker yellow. I'm trying to outline the moon because I'm going to make an attempt at actually shading and giving dimension, which I'm not sure how it turns out, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm a little behind in the times here. The second marker I called, I'm not really yellow or orange, Identity Crisis yellow. This one here is more like a school bus. Wish my kids were in school longer. Yellow. Now here what I'm trying to do is I got that lighter inkless marker out, and I'm trying to blend everything so there's not any distinct lines in that moon. I want the moon to kind of have that round dimension without making it look like I just colored it with a crayon, because, you know, I'd like to feel like I have skills. So what I did here is I colored the wing a very light yellow. It was I don't know, I think it was one of the markers I used previous. Oh, there it is. I decided that I needed that tip instead of the brush tip. So I colored it a lot lighter because the moon color I wanted the wings to seem transparent, and the yellowish moon just kind of faded out behind the wings. Same with the blue on the wings. So what I'm doing here is I realized that I masked it kind of off center, so I had that weird line in there. So I got some blue that I thought maybe would match the distress ink and filled that in so it didn't look all weird. So I didn't. Wow, I forgot how to speak for a second there. Sorry, folks. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I tried to go around the whole moon, and I was trying to be careful not to overdo it, which I think I probably overdid it anyway. But I have an excuse because I've said it a bunch of times already. This is my first time ever making a card, and I'm just winging it here. So anyway, I wasn't extremely happy at first with that blue before we changed over to this scene here, but I did end up taking some more of that black on the Q-tip and blending it around to kind of blend it into the sky, and as you can see, it turned out okay. I'm good with it. So anyway, right now I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be a birthday card because, well, again, we're honoring Amanda's birthday. And I've seen Renee heat emboss many times, so this is my attempt at heat embossing. I thought maybe a nice heat embossed sentiment over the whole scene would be fine. So what I did there is I put that like Olympic gymnast talcum powder on there. That's to avoid the embossing powder getting on spots that you don't want it to get. And then I proceeded to use the clear ink. It's like a clear and sticky VersaFine ink. No, Versamark ink. Upside down Versamark ink. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do it a couple times to make sure it's solid. So when I put the um, embossing powder on there, it's going to stick evenly. I did find that when you use this, it's a real pain in the butt to try not to lift the card when you lift that plate. But then I thought to myself, that's why I'm using this tool, because if it lifts up, I can put it in the corner and be in the same spot. So that with that complete, now I'm gonna get the well, how can you have a fairy on a card and not use fairy dust? So that's what we're gonna do. We got some fairy dust here. We're gonna sprinkle it on there and shake it a little. And I saw her use the coffee filter, so I knew I had to do that. Now I got the heat gun out, and I'm hoping to not light the card on fire while I'm doing that. And it seems to be turning out pretty good. It was hard for me to realize when everything was melted, but then I noticed, hey, the card's warped, so I did ask Renee advice. I said, how do I do this? She goes, hey, blow some heat on the back, and it'll go back the way it was. Well, it did for the most part. So I decided I needed to highlight the hair a little bit, so I got some brown. It's like chocolate brownie brown. And I put it over the hair, and it really doesn't look brown, but it did define the hair a little bit. The hair is now not blue, which is good. So what I got there is I got some glitter something or another, and I put that on the wings because, I figure a fairy with sparkly wings would be fairly decent. It's, I guess, cute and adds dimension and some interest. I'm trying to shine a light on it so you guys can see the shimmer. Hey, yeah, that's what they call it. I think it's shimmer pen. So what I did there is got my card base folded. I used a bone folder to do that in this plate thingy that, you can score the card with. This is the tape gun that she loves to use. I had to figure out that, hey, you got to pull the trigger when you do this. And she's told me a million times. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, putting my image on the card base, and it seems to match up pretty good, so I didn't have to do any trimming there. But anyway, that's my card. So thanks for sitting and painfully listening to me. And I want to say, hey, hit like and subscribe. Check out Amanda's husband's video and give cards generously. Bye. Happy birthday, Amanda.